Okay, so at the moment I do have a little bit of a throat congestion, but I'm gonna try to get through this the best I can. This is the video that people were kind of wanting to see from me, which is that Invincible season 3 IGN teardown from the season finale. And I did see bits and pieces of season 3. I saw season 2, I saw season 1, so I have a big indication of what Invincible is, and I really enjoy it so much. I thought this ending season finale was very, very good, impactful, emotional, dramatic, action filled, great animation, great voice acting from Steven Yeun and Jeffrey Dean Morgan all around, showing that Mark is now in a situation where the Viltrumites are coming. They are stronger than ever before, and he has to prepare for this. There is no more sitting on the sidelines. No kill rules. It's either kill or be killed. And I thought that was conveyed well as them adding stuff to Conquest's character, saying things like, oh, I am a lonely person, I'm a victim of my own success, I go around, you know, I'm the big bad person that goes around and conquers worlds. They didn't even give me a name, I'm so lonely, nobody would care about what else that I do besides killing, and that's all that I'm good at. Take it at your grave. And I thought that was like fantastic. As an addition, it adds some three-dimension creepiness to a character that's already like solidified to be a monster, and I really loved it. At least it has to be higher than a fucking 4 out of 10. I thought it was great. This review is insanity to me, and IGN has always had some of these stupid dog shit comic book reviews that I just don't understand. Like, let's get into it right now before we go into the Invincible review. They apparently did like What Have I Done, which is the Invincible War, where the clones of Mark is going around from Angstrom Levy and they're wreaking havoc, and they're going through like a cycle of 3 days. They like that episode. They don't like this one, where it seems like this episode is a nice culmination of new threats on the horizon for the Invincible franchise. And again, if you haven't read the comics, you will understand what they're starting to set up slowly, building up to that giant Viltrumite war. So they like the Invincible War episode, but they don't like the setup for what is going to be the linchpin of the Viltrumite war. And I don't understand that. Like, it seems like you guys are kind of up and down, inconsistent for season 3, whereas like the season finale had one of the best fights ever. All right, so I don't get it. I don't understand. And then I'm not gonna read that yet, but I want to go to this. This is their review of The Penguin, a very solid crime drama series, right? A very deep character study, understanding the twisted nature of Oswald Cobb. They gave that shit a 5, all right? Usually if IGN is hating on something, that means it's really fucking good. And then there's more, like their stupid game reviews where they criticize Pokemon Alpha Sapphire for having too much water. And then you go down here and you see just this whole insane rage bait shit show where it's like they gave Penguin a 5, they gave Transformers 1 a 5, they gave Loki season 2, is that season 2? Yes, they gave that a 5, they gave Deadpool Wolverine a 7, and Alien Isolation mediocre. And it just goes down the list. Now, of course, people are going to have their own opinions and review systems and whatnot. They're going to feel the way that they feel. But in most cases where I reviewed, it's not a review, I think I actually went over IGN's Death of Superman review for DC animation, and I just remember them saying, oh, they just rehashed it, all they did is rehash the same fucking thing, but they didn't really go into detail and explain why it wasn't good. It was good animation, it was a good interpretation of the story that we already knew. Just because they decided to take something in the past and redo it didn't necessarily mean that it was bad. So I thought that was a shit criticism. Let's go into the review, all right? And I know one of the things this guy complains about is the fact that he says something like, Conquest was never set up, these Viltrumites, these transitional Viltrumites, was never really set up or established, so you really don't feel the punch when Conquest comes out of nowhere. And I think that's a bullshit statement, alright? So they already teased in season 2 when Anissa came to Earth, and Conquest references Anissa in this episode. They say that Viltrumites are coming. Omni-Man failed to do what he was supposed to do, which was conquer Earth, because he felt the love for his son and his family, and Mark broke through. Omni-Man flew away, and then he eventually gets captured, and I think he gets captured after he has a family with the Thraxans. And once that happens, the Viltrumites are trying to come in to finish the job, and Mark is there trying to defend Earth by himself. And eventually, I know in the comics, Omni-Man comes back, everything starts to become, this little semblance of a family again before shit goes down later on. But the Viltrumite War is not over quite yet. And they say they're coming to take over the planet, but they propose to Mark that we're going to give you a choice. Either it's going to be in your hands, or we wipe out every single person here, even the people you love. And we saw that threat with Anissa, and she said someone else stronger is coming to this planet. How were you not paying attention that this wasn't supposedly quote unquote set up? What the fuck is wrong with you? Do you have like bugs in your ears or something, like peanut butter and jelly? Like, motherfucker, are you listening? Are you paying attention to what season 2 said? Apparently, they even showed Conquest tease years ago, and he's right here, like before he loses his arm and his eye and all that other stuff to the Ragnars. He's right here, front and center. You see Conquest being teased. You guys are not perceptive. You at least could have probably asked people these questions before publishing that review, and you would have a little bit more credibility, a little bit more validity to your name. But instead, you don't do that, because IGN fucking sucks at research and paying attention and context clues. We know that much. All right. So I'm gonna keep going down the list, and they're just shitting on Conquest. So the arrival of the one-armed Viltrumite warrior Conquest. At the same time, Mark is caught once again between killing or not, and this was established again in season 3. And I haven't seen all of season 3, but even I know this. Mark is trying to teach a lesson to Oliver. Don't kill, please don't kill. When Oliver completely like destroyed the Maulers and killed them, he was distraught by that. He was like, please don't kill, because he wants to be the heroic diplomatic type. And then Oliver eventually starts to adopt things from Omni-Man, saying that this is how you do it. You got to get the job done this way. Otherwise, these villains are going to come back again like Angstrom Levy, and they're going to threaten your family over and over and over again. So you have to kill them. You can't show mercy. And eventually at the end, it's like Mark says, well, Eve almost dies because of me. You can see it in his eyes, like Eve almost dies because of me. Oliver, you're right, I have to kill people that go after my loved ones. And that's the moral dilemma there that you're not understanding. It arrived to a conclusion, but you're not paying attention. All right, so let's go down. Let's see. Not only have we never seen Conquest prior to the last week's closing moments, he's also devoid of any real ideology. We talked about his ideology, which is, yo, I'm very lonely, but I'm good at killing. This is what I do. The Viltrumites fight to survive, so that's what their species knows. You can see those traits within Conquest as he learns, and he begins to not only like what is happening with this whole dire situation that he caused, but he's starting to understand Mark as he fights. If you were paying the fuck attention, IGN, because I watched this episode, I know you didn't, you would know that. He literally says it. It's like, I kind of understand why you like protecting these puny people, because I know they mean something to you. Whereas I never had that before. I just fought my entire life for like, what, 500,000 years, like, or 5,000 years. I just fought my entire life. I'm just this old crone that goes around and fight all these people, but I have these bottled up emotions that are slowly surfacing in one manic fight where he admits the mark that, yes, this is all I do. I'm a victim of my success. We talked about that earlier. So he has ideals, he has goals, but you know, he is also crazy. He says I'm not crazy. I think I'm crazy. I'm not crazy, but he's definitely someone who takes pleasure in his job. Claiming to only love death and destruction makes him a useful foil for Mark, which I agree, but as an exclamation point to season 3, he's a giant shoulder shrug with little connection to anything meaningful within Invincible. What the fuck does that mean? He's connected to the arrival of the threats of the Viltrumites and the Viltrumite War. You guys just lack any sort of depth perception and paying attention. Let's go down. Oh my god, this is already like killing my brain. It's awful. I'm looking for more bad excerpts. Jesus fucking Christ. Jesus fucking Christ, it's so bad. Invincible doing an encore of one of his greatest hits, but in completely uninteresting fashion. What was uninteresting about the episode, making it damn near impossible to invest in the climax of this uneven season? What was uninteresting about it? This was the climax that everyone knew that was going to happen from season 2 with this looming threat, with these powerhouses and everything. And you guys liked the Invincible War, so clearly not everything in season 3 was bad to you guys. So like, what the fuck is going on? And then it's like one of the most powerful episodes. They're complaining about fucking you know, oh, look at Conquest, he reused the idea of ramming Mark into all these civilians on the beach and whatnot, right? But you guys liked season 1 when Omni-Man did that, and it's just like, of course, when Viltrumites come in. And this one is different because Conquest does not care about Mark whatsoever. He does not care. He's not gonna have a conscious. Remember when he grabs him and says, "Are you crazy? You're telling me to stop? Are you crazy? I'm not listening to you," right? He's different from Omni-Man in the fact that yes, he caused a lot of damage, he killed a lot of people, etc., but he did open up to his son at the end of the episode for the season finale of season 1. Fucking Conquest doesn't do that. He says, I take the good with the bad. He let his ass get like headbutted like 5 million times when he was like near death. So he relishes in all of this. It is a different scenario, even if you try to draw comparisons that way. Let's see. I'm just reading more and more. People are collateral damage. Well, no fucking shit. It's like 2 powered up Viltrumites going through buildings. Of course, humans and civilians are going to be collateral damage, but again, that's usually what happens when it's good versus evil in a superhero story. People are going to die while the hero feels bad or sympathetic for those people dying. It's like, come the fuck on, man. This is common sense. Like, what the fuck? You guys are terrible at reviews. Like, holy shit, dude. I always knew their comic reviews were ass, and I showed you guys this, but I didn't think it was this bad after reading it. Like I said, I'm just reading a little excerpt, so I'm not gonna read the whole thing. Let's see. Eve having her jaw broken and her insides strewn about. Yeah, that's Conquest. Conquest was not fucking around on the episode. That shit was really good. And it was also showing Mark getting desperate and more angry, having that aggression, that adrenaline from his human side, and also the power of the Viltrumite side just fueling the rage and all this other shit. And it's just so fucking good. I love Invincible so much, people. I really do. I'm with you guys. This is a suck ass, stupid ass, dick sucking dumbass review. It's like all the insults you could throw at this one. Let's see. When Eve powers up and heals herself is pretty much out of the blue. So I don't know like everything about Adam Eve's powers. I know she generates like shields and stuff like that. That is like a projection, but correct me if wrong, isn't Adam Eve like her main power is like construct and stuff like that. She can also construct her body and reconstruct it as well, right? How are you guys confused about Adam Eve's abilities, even if someone who is a noob to Adam Eve like me explaining it in a much better detail than you guys are? What the fuck? This is fucking ass. This review is ass, man. Again, this is like, you can dislike a show, that's fine, but at least have a lot of valid points that's not rage bait garbage to back it up, right? Because again, vapid and terrible criticisms can be criticized, and you can have those opinions, but they are not safe from equal civil discourse. See, Mark well away on conquest, therefore a purely physical act with no emotion behind it. He just killed his girlfriend. Conquest killed Mark's girlfriend in front of him, took Oliver, which is his like half brother, and was about to pull him apart like a Twizzler, right? You guys saw that, right? Because I did. I paid attention to this episode really much in detail versus IGN, where it seemed like they have fucking shifter brains, all right, at this point. No emotion. There was plenty of emotion, and Steven Yeun was selling it, and they were eating it up. What was that criticism? That's terrible, dude. It's like, come on, man. The Viltrumite is a complete stranger. Once again, it's setting up what was in season 2. Stop repeating the same shit. So they were giving him lengthy monologues this late into the season, and so soon after his arrival feels entirely pointless. I thought it gave his character more depth, because he's not just a 100% senseless monster. He has a soul inside of him, and maybe things could have been different, but because of the Viltrumite teachings, yeah, things are not so different after all. As though Invincible were straining to grant him some semblance of heft or relevance. The results are dull, and they ensure that the edges of this episode's violence are all sanded down. The violence came at a cost, and Mark knows this. The cost was almost his family members and the people he cared for and the people he loved. So the violence almost came at a cost in this episode, and he realizes this. That's why he said, you know, Cecil burned his body, but Cecil keeping him alive, that is Cecil's mistake. It even showed desperation, because didn't Mark dislike Cecil in this season mostly because he said, you know, you gotta work for me or whatever, and then he got the reanimator to attack Mark. Mark screaming out to Cecil post him hating him when Adam Eve was like super injured and almost dying. That's desperation. That's a change of character right there, because again, it shows that Mark has things to protect, and he will call out to people that he fucking can't stand if they can help him, if they did help him like Cecil did. Like, Cecil, come out, do something please, because the love of my life is about to die right in front of me. There's the emotion right there. There's the cost right there. You guys aren't paying the fuck attention. It's crazy. Let's see, let's keep going down the list, because again, this is pissing me off just as much as everyone else did. This is a horrible review. This is terrible. This is awful, all right? They're talking about Damien Darkblood and his appearance of trying to revive someone with a black heart or whatever. I did see that part. I guess it's fine they're making Damien Darkblood relevant in Invincible, because I think after Cecil casts him away, he just sort of disappears from there. So maybe they could do something interesting with him. I'm not sure. I would have preferred them maybe to accelerate. Well, I'm gonna speak comic spoilers here, so I mean, everyone knows that keeping the head of Conquest is going to lead to Conquest regenerating, because Viltrumites do regenerate and he will get his body back. And I would have preferred Conquest going back to Thrag and showing Thrag, because Thrag's gonna be like the big baddie of the new seasons going forward. I think season 4 we're definitely seeing Thrag. let's see. Yeah, okay, so this is them sort of saying, oh, they had better consequences in the last episode where Rexplode did in fact die right there. It's hard to tell who's dead for real. Well, Conquest isn't, given the sudden resurrections of Late, but before anyone, let alone his girlfriend Ray, has time to grieve, the focus shifts back to Mark and Eve's relationship. Mark claims to have been deeply affected when he believed Eve was dead, but since this lasted for only a handful of minutes, and because this is the last we'll see of Invincible till season 4, we're left to wonder what impact it'll actually have on them and their dynamic. Once again, the dynamic was she did actually like perish right there, and then she reconstructed her body. Mark thought she was dead, but you saw how angry he was. He was hell-bent to kill fucking Conquest at all costs. Remember what he said? It's like, oh, the great line. I don't care how strong you are. I don't care how fast you are. I can see the future. You don't live to see tomorrow. After the whole no kill rule thing, and this is a clear change in animalistic style depression. This is Mark wanting this guy to have his fucking head on a platter, and the changes in that is, if you're gonna have superhero family and friends around, or just regular people, those people are gonna be in danger no matter what with your identity. So this is why he shifts fully into the belief that yes, these Viltrumites have to go in some capacity, and there's more and more and more of them, and that's going to have to warrant some team. I remember some jackass was also saying that, oh, they showed all these characters in the Invincible War like Tech Jacket, and they only spent like a couple of seconds on them, but they're going to be important to the later arcs in Invincible. Again, it's like, what type of shit criticisms are you people making? Like, do you not understand basic setup to other seasons, especially in a TV show? Fuck, I mean, let's take another example. I mean, we knew, let's take a very popular example, the Saiyan saga in Dragon Ball, right? We saw Raditz come to Earth. And you know what I'm gonna say next after this. You know what I'm gonna say if you watch that shit, right? After Raditz was defeated, what did he tell Goku and the gang and Piccolo and all those other people, right? While Goku was dying and Piccolo was like listening. He said that because I am dying, everyone on my scouter heard everything I had to say. Therefore, there's gonna be more people like me in the next couple of months or years or so. That's set up for Vegeta and Nappa to come to Earth, and that was the setup for that. Like, what? It's easy to pay attention to what setups and dynamics means. Clearly, Adam and Eve, and I mean, not Adam and Eve. I say, well, they're the forbidden fruit, maybe with sex. I don't know. I'm gonna leave that in, by the way. But Mark and Eve, they're going to have ups and downs in their relationship. It's going to affect them and their family and their psyche a lot, and it's going to show the bond between these characters and how this will survive and how it will have very, very, very deep ramifications later on, whether physically or mentally. I don't know if they're going to adapt everything from the comics. There's a lot of content that is, I don't know how to explain this. I'm just going to say it's very, very dark subject matter, especially involving Mark and Anissa, and I guess people will know what I'm talking about when I say this, but I don't know how they're gonna adapt that. I don't think that they will adapt that at times, but sometimes if they do, because they adapted everything else so far and they added new things in and they made rearrangements, you never know. But that's also a dynamic that's going to heavily impact Mark and Eve in a grand degree if you read the comics. Once again, Invincible's just going to be that franchise that has that Robert Kirkman writing, that dark feeling to it, and characters that might be superheroes dealing with real problems, and it really conveys itself well. I like this. So everything this guy is saying is ass. All right. He seems to have a severe lack and a severe fundamental misunderstanding of the show itself, and he doesn't get it, and he's bringing up things that were either explained already that's going to be set up in the future, or they actually showed it and he just wasn't paying attention whatsoever. And it's like Mighty Keith says, IGN must be smoking dick and ass. All right, so let's go to some of the quote tweets here and just look at people roasting this. IGN preparing the worst takes you've ever seen. IGN review in the big 2025. You should have died at birth. You should have died at birth. Let's see, going down the list, what else is funnier? IGN with the worst takes of all time. Opinion is subjective, but I'm making an exception to say this take should be shot into the sun. Absolutely. You can't spell IGN without be can't spell IGN with being illiterate and having dumb takes. IGN actually top 5 worst IGN reviews, and that's genuinely impressive. And then this guy is explaining it. We've been told and clearly shown how enormous of a threat the Viltrumites are since Invincible's pilot, as well as Conquest arriving. We've literally spent 2 seasons showing Mark's no-kill rule always comes back to hurt him, and how it forces him to evolve. And then step number 3, shut up. You should stick to game reviews. I don't think they're even good at doing that. Sometimes IGN hating on something, that usually means something is really fucking good. Again, their comic book reviews are fucking trash. I genuinely believe that. I don't think that I rarely read any of them outside of maybe The Boys that were genuinely something that I liked. This guy is using their review of She-Hulk, the 8 out of 10. I haven't seen it, so I can't really say or compare it to Invincible. I would assume Invincible's probably better, but I haven't seen it, so who knows? Maybe I'll like it, maybe I won't. We will find out when I watch it. I'll give it a fair shake, and if I like it, then cool. If I don't, then cool. But you know, I am an MCU fan. I ain't gonna lie around. I do love Marvel a lot. But right now I'm watching Daredevil. Daredevil's like fucking peak. It is definitely rage bait. IGN's full of shit. IGN delete this. Conquest has been built up several times throughout the show, like Thanos showing up. I wouldn't make the Thanos comparison because Thanos was like heavily ingrained before he showed up, but they did tease him, and that's kind of what matters. Did y'all watch the same fucking show as anyone else? I agree, it is IGN after all. The IGN sucks. Bad rage bait blocked. Reading this gave me a headache. You were dumb. People are just goddamn, they're tearing their ass alive. This guy must have had a bad week to give this review. Let's go down the list. Why do you give IGN attention? They've been washed. We all agree that IGN sucks. Shut your bitch ass up. Shut your bitch ass up. Damn. God damn, bro. Oh, they're going in. That man put a spanking on Mark so badly, he said it's time to be a real Viltrumite. Conquest was the villain he needed. Yeah, because it really pushed Mark all the way over to the edge. Like, I know Angstrom was pushing it. I know Angstrom was like really pushing the buttons, but I think Conquest kind of delivered. And again, he murked E for a little bit. So yeah, Angstrom broke Debbie's arm, but he didn't kill her. This one was the big push. A hero's dilemma that's actually never addressed. Nearly episode in the season 3, which is what this guy is saying, by the way, features Mark having a dilemma of killing, his fallout with Cecil, Oliver taking out the Maulers, the dragon, Angstrom's return. This dilemma has been addressed all season. What do you mean they're not watching the damn show? Let's see, the guy using the comics, but mainstream people probably wouldn't know about Conquest until this episode, but now they do, because goddamn, that episode was fire. I already knew IGN was washed. I'm probably gonna read like maybe 2 more, and I think that's it. Let's see. Trying to find two more funny ones, man. I just need that. You guys can eat shit, or you guys can eat shit. IGN when it comes to awful taste. I got one more in me. Hold on, I want to read one more. I want to read one more. Well, they love MCU, but they don't like anything else. See, I love MCU, but that's like weird to me. I'd be like, yeah, there's other media that's good, like Penguin and Invincible, that's for sure. Let's see. I just want one more funny one to go out on. Oh, not that one. You guys are stupid. Look at that subtitle. Rage baiting word choice. Distasteful dismissiveness of it. My god, it even hides the rating behind a leak. Okay, I really love American Psycho, so I think that's the one for me to go out on. What do you guys think of IGN's review of comic book media and stuff like that? I personally think it's always been a slippery slope, even worse than some of the games, but too much water is still a stupid critique nonetheless with Pokemon, so I'm kind of on your side about it. Again, I feel like if you're going to make points like this, like if you want to explain, oh, what's bad about the episode or whatever, what you didn't like, you could at least try to be acknowledged about what you're talking about, as opposed to being fucking stupid and avoiding that issue. And then when people bring up, yeah, they did this or they did that or they did this, it's just you not paying attention to details, which is, that's kind of your fault. It's like you can feel the way that you feel, but it is your fault at the end of the day. So when people bring that stuff up, yes, that is something that's going to be mentioned to you as a counterpoint. I can see people saying, maybe the build up to what happened with Conquest, maybe that could have been a little bit more stronger and concise. That would be a better critique than what they fucking just said. Definitely that, because I think this is what season 3 needed. It needed to be the culmination of season 2, and you could say maybe that's a little bit slow, maybe it goes a little bit slow. Yes, I can see that being a more proper critique than what IGN is fucking saying, where they completely miss Conquest actually being seen in previous seasons. So I am Renegade Operative. I am signing out. This is funny as shit. It's just people roasting the fuck out of them in the comment section. It's always a fun time roasting IGN. Definitely gonna see you guys later. Be good people, and once again, let me know how you feel about this. See you around.